We are live. This is the market update. I am your host, Bill Noble. Will XRP flip ETH? That is the popular YouTube question. Probably. Now, what people aren't asking themselves is what kind of market environment do you have to have for XRP to flip ETH? I think the answer to that is crypto has to go on a sustained uptrend, which is something you haven't seen so far. So if you think XRP could flip ETH, then you must believe in a major long-term uptrend, not the all the way up, all the way down, right? So in 2023, at the end of the year, and then in the beginning of 2024, all the way up, all the way down. The election, all the way up, all the way down. Except that occurred over a shorter time frame. Okay, now that everyone is negative, literally, it's possibly time for a sustained uptrend. The YouTube headline is, will XRP flip ETH? The actual headline could be, is Bitcoin ready to trend to either 150K in the short term or 200K, say, out until the end of the year? Or said differently, because, you can't know every month-by-month move, although I try, is can this thing go higher than anyone thinks? Now, of course, that's a ridiculous conversation because everyone's negative. And then you have geopolitical events overnight on Sunday, and everybody gets even more negative. Everyone gets more negative. Simple fact of the matter is, I don't know, short of Bitcoin falling below 70, if people could get any more scared and any more bearish than they are right now. Like, you'd have to have some kind of event that nukes everything. And maybe you could have it in the stock market. I don't know. Maybe you could have that kind of problem. Start asking yourself about the power of Bitcoin in general. We'll go over some news headlines. We'll go over some charts. We'll go over, it's time to go back to Solana. Solana never really went up on the second round of these all the way up, all the way down things. Solana never went up. So I know these validators and I know these FTX remnants. I know that the validators are just all selling because trading on Solana isn't free, right? You pay with lack of price appreciation. But the thing is, Solana has gone down so much. And if they pass some sort of, proposal that they reduce Solana inflation, Solana could go up a lot. They could go up a lot. So we're going to go into some of that. We're going to go into the news. We're going to look at the charts, and we're going to really ask ourselves, why are we all negative? Why are we all negative? Okay, Zepedas is here. Thomas, good morning. Jav, appreciate you, sir. Warmon, Hornet, Alexandra, what's going on? Miguel, Roby, the original SGSG, along with Taz Pinball, welcome. Gelster, figures just released for retail sales. Will the Fed say we need more data? Dude, the Fed doesn't want to do anything until they have to do something, right? They want to save all of the value of rate cuts until they have to do something. And in the meantime, they're just putting M2 and high-powered money in the system as needed. Old Smokey, Ecrypt, Malik, Tyler, what's up? Okay, let's go to news. All right, so the Fed rate decision in March. Okay, I don't think anybody expects anything to happen. 99% expect no change. And I think there's a 99% chance you don't see anything out of the Fed until there's a problem with housing. Because the housing market can't stay locked forever, meaning prices are too high. Sellers don't want to sell. at lower prices. And they can't because there are no buyers. So the housing market just literally sits there locked. And until you have a problem with housing, the Fed doesn't need to get involved. Although that said, rates are too high and so is inflation. Okay. Problem is, in order to bring inflation down, you have to have unemployment go up. Okay. There's a 41% chance of a recession in the United States. All right, let's talk about recession. We have talked about it before. You know, a recession is this outdated thing. It's an economist metric about 2 consecutive quarters of shrinking economic output. It's outdated. If anything, we've been in a recession and everyone knows it. I've been screaming it. All these economics guys have been screaming it. You know, the inflation and the demand destruction have been real in one sector of the economy that's like low, middle end consumers. And then higher end consumers are just financing everything on credit cards. So yeah, it's a recession for some people and a debt bubble for others. That's the government and everybody who's running on credit cards. There's all kinds of defaults on this stuff already. We're already there. We're already there. Now, are you going to have problems with all this like government employment stuff? Yeah, they probably push that as far as they can because, you know, I know a thing or two about security, and I don't know how Tesla is going to handle, you know, a dozen angry people outside every little Tesla facility. I don't know how they're going to handle that. That's crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot of locations, a lot of people. Sometimes these Tesla places are inside malls, or they used to be. So again, that in many ways is what you get at the tail end of a recession. Now, does the Fed need to lower rates? Yeah. Could you have a shock to economic growth if we decide to start doing stupid stuff in the Middle East? Yeah. Okay. Breaking news. Okay. The CME group is launching Solana futures today. Okay. That's a big deal. That is a very big deal. Okay. All right. Now, U.S. risks global conflict. Okay. This thing with the Middle East is, I'm going to take it off the screen share. Okay. So let's just talk about this, right? Market gets hammered on Sunday night. You know, we're hitting a bunch of guys that aren't really hitting us. They were, and they have really amazing capabilities. So I don't know why we goaded them because they weren't attacking us anymore. However, there are forces in the Middle East that have very, very large amounts of influence with our politicians. You know, it used to be kind of a fringe theory, and frankly, now it's obvious, right? So the stock market's not going to like that. The cryptocurrency market's not going to like that. Tariffs, Okay, this stuff where we're going to start fighting people that, you know, 1 minute we're all for peace and the next minute we're doing something else. You know, I think this is like fulfilling campaign promises that weren't made out loud. They were made to, I mean, I think the Orange Man took $200 million from people who are interested in whatever's going on over there. So if there are risks to the view, that's the risk to the view that somehow that all backfires. I think everybody was really wound up about it on Sunday, and then everybody was like, wait a minute. Why is everyone wound up about this? Does this have anything to do with crypto? If anything, you know, approval ratings are super high. They say they have your interest at heart. They're obviously doing something. They're doing stuff, right? But this geopolitical stuff is not in your interest. And to me, it makes a huge case for crypto because they can tell you that they're going to do something, but they're really going to do the bidding of who's paying them. Honestly. Now, that's not a popular opinion, but I think it's obvious that you need to start looking at crypto. Now, other reasons you need to start looking at crypto, privacy, Bitcoin, whatever. is that the French Parliament wants the Statue of Liberty back. They want the Statue of Liberty back. Don't tempt the orange man. He'll send it back and build another one. The French think we've lost our way. I would refer you to any screenshots of the opening ceremony in Paris in order to discuss that. I mean, that's what the French government's doing when it's time. It wants the Statue of Liberty back. Okay. You know what? I got a great idea. I'm going to buy Bitcoin and a privacy eSIM card. Okay, so Ireland in the news again. They are not happy with what's going on in the Middle East. And you know what? They may have a point. It's very rare. Like the extreme right and the extreme left on the political spectrum both agree that whatever's going on in the Middle East doesn't make any sense. And I really hope it doesn't affect the market, because it affected the market yesterday. And Kramer was like, oh my God, it's going down, which, Kramer has a literal business of being wrong on purpose, of buying high and selling low just to get attention on Twitter. It's actually, they've made a business out of being wrong. Okay, so here's us doing the whole Top Gun thing on a bunch of people in the Middle East. Again, that was the big headline that made the market go down yesterday. I guess if they take care of the problem and they've satisfied the special interest and it's over, then it's not a reason to sell crypto. I don't think it's a reason to sell crypto anyway. But if you do have a 4-day puke in stocks, then I think that's juicy for crypto. Okay, so the orange man is going to release whatever files he said he was going to release. I don't know why this is taking so long, but again, this is a distraction, right? This is a distraction. And it's a distraction from what? Okay, so in the United States, I don't know if you know this, and it hasn't really mattered since cough and cold 5 years ago. But normally, there are political talk shows on Sunday in America, right? I mean, they go basically all morning. So the way American television works on Sunday is that it's like politics in the morning, followed by either football or basketball in the afternoon and the evening. So now, instead of, the orange man doesn't do these things, and, they've got Elon in a secure bunker somewhere. So who's going to go and talk? Well, most likely, not most likely, it's the Treasury guys. It's the Treasury and the Commerce guys. In other words, it's the money men, right? And the money men are on TV going, hey, we're addicted to government spending. And that's true. That's true. And I think, somewhere in here, they're actually telling the truth. Like, this is not the distraction. They finally moved away from the distraction to the truth, probably because it took them this long to come up with some kind of plan as to how they deal with $9 trillion in debt. I'm sorry, $37 trillion in debt. And more importantly, $9 trillion in refinancing for that debt. U.S. Treasury Secretary says U.S. does not have a revenue problem. We have a spending problem, which means that the Secretary of the Treasury is now taking heat off Elon and is basically telling people, we're not done. We're not done. Now, this can have labor market implications. This has dollar implications. Everyone is so fixated on the Fed. The Fed always follows the market. Everyone thinks the Fed speaks and it happens. No, that's not the way it is. That's the way it works on Twitter. But historically, that's not what happens. The Fed lets the market tell them when it's time to change rates. Right now, the market hasn't told them that. But, they're trying to clean up the bond market. The Fed is saving stuff for a crisis. Good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I got this whole thing. It's from this guy, Jocko, I think is how you say it. Oh, the Fed is not cutting rates yet? Good. They'll cut rates more later. The dollar's going lower? Good. Stocks are down? Good. Bitcoin's at 80 and no one wants it? Good. We'll see in December. Let me know how it works out. Okay. Kramer says the stock market is preparing to give up some gains. Bro, it's disappeared. It's one of the fastest corrections ever as they unwound the, I don't know, excessive retail FOMO from Q4. And again, they do this on purpose, right? Oh, at 109K, you got to buy some Bitcoin. Down 15%, get out of S&P. Crazy, right? Well, look at this. The Canadians eliminate the carbon tax for consumers. Gas prices drop 10 to 15%. Huh. You mean when you stop hosing your people, they actually might support you? Gee, what a novel idea. You hear the Canadian leaders talk about we're not happy with how the United States is treating us. I don't blame them. But I haven't heard anything about what Canadian citizens have to say. I know Greenland doesn't want to join us. But, people in Canada, I mean, there's a lot of TikTok videos like, young women sobbing in their cars, 3-hour wait to get into a doctor. I can't afford bread. You know what I'm saying? It's bad up there. So I'm glad they're helping their people. And the more we talk about them becoming the 51st state, the more you have to realize two things. One, it forces them to act in the best interest of their people. Two, it forces them to act in our interest, which is probably securing the border. And three, it shows you how desperate we are to have assets on our book to offset the liabilities from the debt, right? And that was the only way to get out of debt is to get more revenue generating assets, which is why all this talk about Greenland and Panama Canal and all these places exist. That's why, because they're panicking about this. They should be. I mean, we knew it was unsustainable. I was like, oh, well, it's unsustainable. Okay. It's unsustainable. What do you do to fix it? And again, this speaks directly to digital assets. They're going to have to tokenize bond markets in order for the government to be able to get the amount of stuff issued. And that point will probably be made at some point this year. BlackRock wants it done now. Matter of fact, they're not moving fast enough. So I don't understand with sovereigns just now figuring out that we need to stop hosing our people, that the people are all bearish, the one thing that's designed to help them get out of this. Okay, more from the Treasury, right? Other people's manufacturers are going to eat the price on tariffs. Tariffs are generally not good for trade, but this line that they have that people have been hosing us for years, I don't know if that's true or not. What he's not saying is that we need to get revenue in here. And, if they reduce demand, this is a Powell's big thing, like, oh my God, demand is too high. We have to spike rates. If they reduce overall demand in the economy, if you stop the NVIDIA holders from paying $40 for a steak at the grocery store, then maybe, things calm down. He's saying both things. He's like, we need the money. Other people have been hosing us. And if we continue on this path and stop demand and stop people from just being able to buy anything at any price, inflation might come down. Now, if that's the plan, that's crypto positive. That's crypto positive. I mean, crypto did pretty good when you had really high inflation. Now, if you get lower dollar and lower rates, you could have unbelievable upside, especially because everyone is bearish. Coinbase CEO says Bitcoin is going to multiple millions. Okay, dude. Well, I'm glad that you think that. I don't like it when people say there's no price too high. What I wish this guy would say is that Bitcoin is going up and we're going to list everything that's going to go up along with Bitcoin because we want retail to get involved. Now, this guy was also at the summit and he may be saying this because he knows what they really want to do. Moreover, he may know what they really need to do. As a matter of fact, as I talk it out, sometimes I wonder, honestly, if the reason they didn't do the Bitcoin strategic reserve right away is because it would look like they're panicking. They are panicking, but I think they need the Bitcoin to back treasuries and the currency, and they're saving that for when they absolutely have to do it. Meantime, they're going to let these guys talk it up to try to get retail involved when everyone is negative. I mean, again, they're selling you Bitcoin 80, sub 80. I'm going to continue to believe that that's Christmas. That the government isn't going to want to do the strategic Bitcoin reserve. They're going to need to. And I got to find the RFK footage from Consensus, where he actually laid it all out about how he wanted to use Bitcoin as a way to back treasuries and the dollar to a very small extent. You need a lot of Bitcoin for that. Okay, so Secretary of State on tariffs. We have deindustrialized the United States of America. Okay, so yeah, of course, corporations, their job is to maximize shareholder value, not to employ people here. Their job is to make the most money possible for the people who own their stock. That's how capitalism works. So they went wherever the labor was cheapest. Now they're changing the price of labor. Now, what Marco's not telling you is the best way to change the price of labor and the price of U.S. goods and other people's goods is not necessarily with tariffs, it's with the dollar. Get the dollar down massively, right? Massively. Now, do they want everything back in the United States? Yeah. Why do they want everything back in the United States? Because they're super patriotic and they want everything made in America? Okay. Yeah, sure. But they need the tax base. They need the employment. They need everything here. They owe so much money. They owe so much money. They got to get everything they can back over here, and they don't care about market volatility, because if you think you got market volatility now, if there's a failed auction for U.S. government bonds, yeah, you're going to have market volatility that's going to make you wish we could go back to the good old days of 10% or 20% declines in markets. You're going to have volatility that you can't even deal with. That's going to bring in the Fed and all these other things. That's why the Fed is waiting, right? Because the Fed's like, hey, if this goes bad, if you have a failed auction for treasuries, and of course, again, I keep bringing this back to crypto. I don't understand how anyone can look at these things. I mean, I feel like I'm talking to, I'm talking to you, and I appreciate that, but I feel like I'm talking to myself. I feel like I look at YouTube, and YouTube's like, yeah, can XRP flip Bitcoin? Can XRP flip Ethereum? Yeah, you can. And how does that happen exactly? Like, XRP is a fast version of money, and I think the second XRP flips Ethereum explodes, because this whole idea like, Ethereum has no leadership, and Ethereum has a gigantic transaction network. The whole planet cannot run on one layer one. It just can't. So, like I said, what kind of a world are you living in if XRP flips Bitcoin? People are not asking these questions. They're just not. Okay, so here we are. Old men talking. I'm one of them, but the best way to merge the economies of Canada and the US should be, the Canadians wanting to come on over here. And who knows? They may be sick of it. Why do you think they're reducing taxes on gasoline? They're like, hey, we don't want to see a whole bunch of Canadians wearing MAGA hats, although I kind of doubt that. But I'm sure there are people who are like, hey, I'm sick of what's going on now. And supposedly this guy that's running Canada is worse than Trudeau. Again, people in Canada, people in France, people in Europe. I mean, you got a privacy, got an antivirus eSIM card. You're never going to get me off of that. How you looking at the internet? You're looking at the internet privately. They looking in on you anywhere out there, right? How about Bitcoin, right? How about like something mathematically perfect that you can't print, that won't crater on a $9 trillion problem? These guys are on the tape talking about Canada because they want to distract you from the real problem. This guy's from Cantor Fitzgerald, which is from a historically huge broker, meaning they're an intermediary and they facilitate buying and selling in the gigantic U.S. Treasury market. That's how Cantor Fitzgerald got created. They still are. They're huge, huge. The Treasury market wouldn't function without Cantor Fitzgerald. That's this guy over here. Why are they on the tape talking about all this stuff over north of the border? Why are they talking about all this silly stuff? It's a distraction. It's an absolute distraction. Did you notice Elon didn't really say much about the Tesla protests? Yeah, because it's just a distraction that they don't. It's like the people who are upset, they're doing their job for them. $314 million bridge from Solana to Ethereum. So everyone is exiting to go to Solana. You have to wonder. It's like, there's a couple of things I wonder about. It's like, is this, everyone just left Avalanche where they have security token functionality. Everyone's leaving ETH. Everyone's going to Solana. Solana can't go up. It's kind of weird, right? It's like all this money's moving around and it doesn't seem to be good for anybody. I'm just saying, it's not a judgment or a prediction. It's like, wait a minute. You got all this money moving around. I don't know if you can have a cycle without ETH and Solana or some layer one leading. Someone has to lead the market. Personally, I think it could be XRP and Bitcoin, but I do think, honestly, non-investment advice, it could be time to buy Solana. Solana at 120, I mean, God, Solana never went up to begin with, right? So, if Solana is going to have a use case, the phone's coming out in March, and everyone's negative, right? Everyone's negative. Mr. Wonderful talks excitement around cryptocurrency under Trump. America is in a new phase. Okay, so everybody's all happy that Uncle Sugar is embracing it, but their bags aren't going up, so they're upset. But they haven't thought about why they embraced it to begin with. Well, the first reason was to get votes. But the second reason is going to be to back treasuries. And no one understands this, but they will later. Because right now, it's like, oh, something goes on. Something's bearish for stocks, sell crypto. Yeah, did stupid stuff go on over the weekend? Yeah. Am I happy about it? No. But there's no reason to sell crypto. If anything, all these stupid things are reasons to buy crypto. Speaking of reasons to buy crypto, the French central bank says Trump is sowing the seeds of future upheavals by supporting crypto. Bro, your government's insane policies point to the need for crypto. Like, we got to grow. Like, do you know what Europe's answer to economic growth is? Defense spending. So after 80 years of worrying about people in Eastern Europe, Europe's like, oh my God, we got to spend massive amounts of money on defense. Really? Do you? Well, you guys all going to get caught up to the other guys in Eastern Europe who do military and military industrial complex for a living for 100 years? Really? Okay. Yeah. Did you know Bobby said for every $1 million you spend on defense, you create 2 jobs. 2. So I don't know how many jobs they think they're going to create over there, but you're going to create way more jobs with Web3. And even if that's not true, what about the citizens, man? What about the citizens? Like, do they care about the citizens? Do they care? No. The answer is no. Okay, so just in case, breaking news from the Eagle King, and I still think this is just stark raving unbelievable. So Lazarus, the group of guys that hit Bybit, are now like they're bigger than El Salvador overnight. And I don't think anyone understands the meaning of this. Somebody wanted Bitcoin so bad, they were willing to go out and just exploit the whole system and make the system look really bad, except for the fact that cross-chain trading worked. They actually went out and tested cross-chain, just like meme coins tested Solana. Like, meme coins were generally bad. People got so smoked, they've just left and they're never coming back. That's what it feels like. So Lazarus just proved cross-chain works, and they got a huge amount of Bitcoin that they're probably not selling because it's probably going directly to a sovereign. Like, if we had aircraft carriers going after anybody, we should have them going after these guys, but that's not the way it is. That's not the way it is. Because these guys or cryptocurrency did a lot of money on lobbying, but obviously not enough. Not enough. But they wanted Bitcoin so bad, they went out and, they hacked away. They hacked away. Fade the French. Okay, crypto reserve controversy. Poll shows Americans aren't on board because their bags went down. Right? If their bags were going up, people would be like, oh, yeah, this is a great idea. Let me get Trump and Melania coin. I didn't think Melania coin was a bad idea. I thought they were going to accept it somewhere as money. Turned out it was a bunch of guys who just, launched it and dumped it. But, Americans would think it was a great idea. Everybody loved Bitcoin at 109, but at 80, it's no good. It's no good. Don't want to do it. Let's listen to the French. Let's do it that way. They want the Statue of Liberty back? Sure. Right. Taking the Statue of Liberty back and not doing crypto. Like if we gave the Statue of Liberty back to them, what do you think they would do with it? What would they do with it? Do they got any liberty over there? That's why you're never going to get me off this antivirus thing. You're never getting me off of that. Because if you can look at the internet and buy something on the web without someone knowing about it, and according to the community, they're going to have the Solana mixer and the ETH mixer. They're going to have a cross-chain mixer on the website. Just in case you don't think you need to get away from these guys. Because even though approval ratings are high for some people, these characters they're not going to act in your interest at all. And the Canadians are just now figuring it out, and that could be a token gesture. How many more things have they been doing to their people that are unnecessary? So, again. Okay, Michael Saylor with his usual Bitcoin report. They bought $10 million worth of Bitcoin at 82. But what I am told about this, even though they're raising $21 billion, is he didn't announce any more buys. So I don't know. That's bearish, obviously, because, he's not going, oh, I'm buying everything. Or it's bullish because they've even scared Michael Saylor out of the water. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just don't know why you would not be buying massive amounts of Bitcoin down here, unless he thinks it's going lower. But that's a trap too. Everybody, when Bitcoin was at 16K, thought it was going to 10. So the meaning of this is not known at this time. It's not. Okay, so ETH may bottom at 1.6K. The SEC doesn't want altcoin ETFs. Of course they don't. Of course they don't. Doge is a meme coin. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's a meme coin super cycle. Okay, dude. It was a super cycle and a super cycle bust for now, right? And then what's going to rise out of the ashes is meme coins that do things, right? Squid grow, right? Antivirus. It's going to happen. Plus, if they can ever add any monetary functionality or anything like that to these other coins. In other words, your meme coin has to become an app. And if your meme coin becomes an app, Ethereum has to become an app. Ethereum's knock in 2016 versus Bitcoin was that it didn't have a killer app. Now it doesn't have a killer app. Your coin has to be an app. If your coin's not an app, you need to do something else. 21 shares to liquidate 2 Bitcoin and Ether futures ETFs amid market downturn. Okay, so the firm is liquidating the ARK 21 shares ETF, going to show you that BlackRock has won the whole thing. BlackRock has eaten everyone's lunch. I don't know who's going to be left. BlackRock and Galaxy Digital maybe. And Fidelity, right? There's 9 players. They're all not going to win. Okay, flashback. Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak says Bitcoin is mathematical purity. There can never be another Bitcoin. Look, folks, the computer computations, the calculations, the computer science behind Bitcoin is barely explainable because it's so complicated. The process to make a Bitcoin is I don't know how you'd ever do that, how you'd ever replicate that. So that's a nice way of saying Bitcoin is, hard money, scarce money. And, you can have a rally to 200. Now, initially that may be just Bitcoin. And I think XRP can follow the way ETH used to follow in the past. But obviously, if you have Bitcoin at 150 or 200, like all these characters were saying at the top, then there are components of Web3 that are down I looked at some of the coins that I liked. It's some of them are down 40%, over the last 30 days alone. Right. I mean, you got stuff down here that's just totally wiped out. Now, some people's bags are wiped out. But I don't understand why you would not be looking at the market if you had cash available. And if you did bad trades, why you wouldn't be rotating it into something like Bitcoin or XRP or another one of these things that can be like an app. Is it an app? Does it do anything? And if it does, would you want to have it on your phone? There's lots of apps out there. Do you have it on your phone? How many apps you got? Let's go. Not every page is full. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, 11 pages of apps. Am I using all of them? No. But if you can come up with a compelling reason to use it, think about it. Saylor is attending dinners with guests controlling 5 to 10 trillion in assets, then grabbing the mic and telling him to buy Bitcoin. Okay, so they've sent this guy out there with new talking points about Bitcoin. Right now, no one is listening. If Bitcoin turns and goes back to 100, and this guy is out on the tape with a whole new set of talking points, along with the government issuing $9 trillion in bonds, that could be more interesting. No one is talking about this. No one is talking about where Bitcoin is going to be at Bitcoin Vegas, which is going to be huge. Absolutely huge. 5 years ago today, Solana launched. Nobody wanted it back then. I remember there was a guy who was like, hey, you got to take a look at Solana. Solana was like, I don't know, 3 cents. Solana just took off. He's like, yeah, you got to get involved in this because he knew the guy that was, he respected the guy that was kind of running it. 5 years ago, Solana launched. No one wants to touch it. Everyone's dumping it at 120. SEC delays decision on several ETFs. Solana might make it. I think if they were smart, they would put Solana and XRP in one ETF. I think the reason the SEC doesn't want to do this is because they're on a roll, unwinding everything that they were doing in the past, and they don't want to do anything stupid so that everyone looks at them and goes, why did you do this? We scared the pro-crypto people out of the water. We scared them out of the water. It's like the shark movie, right? Ever watch Jaws? You should watch that, right? Everyone was so afraid of the shark that, they ran out of the water and wouldn't go back in. And then when they told them to go back in, the shark came back. They're afraid the shark's going to come back, right? Now, unlike the movie, that's when you go in. When everyone who loves it hates it. Remember, everyone's like, oh my God, it's a bull market. Oh my God, I missed it. Oh my God, I'm not early. Do you remember this crap? Remember this? Oh, I'm not early anymore. Oh, I missed it. Oh my God, I got a FOMO in. No, dude, you didn't miss anything. It hasn't even started yet. I mean, the all-time high in Bitcoin was like, what, 69, 70? Yeah, it's back at 80. ETH is sub 2K. What have you missed? Nothing. You can get back in and do the whole trend. Everyone's like, is it a bear market? I was like, well, if you think it's a bear market, we should be headed for winter. How can we be headed for winter when the dollar is about to vaporize? That's just me. That's just me. El Salvador keeps stacking. Yeah, so they can get as big as Lazarus. Crazy, right? Apple has lost 300 billion value. Yeah, I don't understand why, it's like, hey, it's like Apple, we'll sell you a coffee cup for $90 and the handle for $30. Really, if you try to buy anything from these guys, that's what it's like. Yeah. Hey, you can buy AirPods, but if you want to have the eco-friendly case, it's another $200. Like, you guys got to be kidding me with this. Why do you think Buffett was like relentlessly selling the stock? Relentlessly selling. And they couldn't sell enough. Really, they couldn't. They sold everything that they could. Like, what is this now? This is like, I don't know. This is like Dell computer now. Everyone's got one. And, the upgrade cycle gets longer and longer and longer. Bitcoin or Apple? I don't even know why. Is that a discussion? Is that a question? Forget Solana. XRP may flip Ethereum. Guess we're bored and we don't have anything to talk about, right? Everyone loved XRP at $3. No one wants to talk about XRP at $2. And now they are. Now they're talking about it flipping Ethereum. Okay, that's an interesting discussion. Everyone is bearish and they think XRP is going to go to $250 billion market cap by itself. If XRP flips Ethereum, where's Bitcoin? Where's the whole ecosystem? Like, look at this. Crypto exchange traded products see 1.7 billion in outflows. Everyone's leaving. Peak FUD hints at 70K floor. Everyone's leaving. Like when everyone was piling in, that's when we should have sold at the premium zone on Lux Algo. I thought it was going to go sideways and then they were going to come in and it was just going to go because I knew the dollar was going lower. Now I know the dollar's going lower and it's 20% cheaper. Yeah, everyone's wrecked. No one wants to hear anything. It's just like the YouTube views are shocking. Shocking. Right. The extent of the exit. I mean, antivirus Twitter space had 30 people in it. That's with Janice McAfee doing all the talking. People have just exited. They've exited the whole space. And the people who were in the space, all they wanted to talk about was how wrecked they are. And I'm listening to this. I'm like, oh my God, this is so bullish. So bullish. Can you imagine if this train left and all these wrecked people did nothing but sell the uptick on the way up? Who are they selling to? Where's the supply? Where's the supply other than retail selling the uptick? There's no supply. They've hoovered it all up. Web3 has a metadata problem. Can anonymity networks and new technologies protect users from AI-powered surveillance? It's not a paid promotion, folks. Antivirus AINTI.ai. Don't take my word for it. Don't take my word for it, right? It may not be sovereigns. It may be these tech companies who are racing each other at such a frantic pace. They're so scared of DeepSeek. They're going to remove the safeties. They're going to throw what little morality they have out the window, and they're just going to go. I can't believe. And the thing that's funny is if you take the flip side, like that's the scary argument. If you take the positive upside and they're going to develop AI and they're going to develop the metaverse and they're going to develop all this stuff, how is that not going to pull Web3 or at a very minimum, Bitcoin with it? I know a guy who says the ultimate AI trade is Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin or any other fast transactional currencies. This guy sticks with Bitcoin. You know, he was the one who originally saying you should have 30% of your portfolio in Bitcoin. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea at 108. But no one wants to talk about it at 80. No one wants to talk about it. And all the bullish calendars, they're all there. It's all right here. Cybersecurity officials warn against potentially custom ransomware. Yeah. Yeah, bad guys are out there. Eastern European crypto miners turn their attention to Doge. People are turning their attention towards any digital asset that they can get their hands on, right? Sovereigns are doing it. Corporations are doing it. I don't know how they're going to do. Now, I saw Ohm was up with the market down on Sunday. Like that appears to be the one big RWA mechanism. I thought that coin was going to stop at 6. It went to 8. OKX now pausing DEX aggregator temporarily after detecting stuff from Lazarus. You know, these guys have proved that I know it's terrible. I know people lost money. I know it triggered the correction in the system. These guys are proving real time about cross-chain. It's unbelievable that this crypto ecosystem had to have criminals come in and use and prove the technology works. I mean, now, just in case you think things can't get any more stupid, that's just so random. Somebody with a microphone from the press was actually able, accidentally or otherwise, to, there it is, to stick a microphone in the president's face. I mean, I can't believe they didn't get tackled by the protection unit. I mean, is there any end to the ineptitude of sovereigns? No, there isn't. Like, it's unbelievable. A wallet that's been dormant for 3 years with, I don't know, 1,000 ETH, whatever. Everyone's moving money around and it becomes a giant headline, right? If you're selling ETH, you're selling it to Fidelity. That's what I think. Or you're selling it to Goldman or somebody that's trying to figure out how to get on chain fast. I think the only people who survive and thrive in a world where $9 trillion in government debt has to hit is people who get way into this tokenized assets, because that is going to be a massively popular narrative after they get done with that. It would be intelligent if they would use that mechanism in order to facilitate the $9 trillion in new debt that they issue, or to help anyone else get debt. That's why Michael Saylor's getting his money now. Larry Fink calling for 700K Bitcoin. So what's Larry not telling you when he talks about 700K Bitcoin? 9 trillion in issuance, all kinds of related stuff like that. That's what he's telling you. But no one's listening because everyone's bearish, right? Binance going to 0% trading fee on Binance Wallet until September. Like, how bad is it out there? It's bad. It's bad. Everyone has left, which is the biggest reason to get in. Larry thinks Bitcoin's going to 700K and retail has walked away because they lost so much money. They're done. They're done. It's incredible. It's sad. It is. Because crypto is supposed to be for the people. Cryptocurrency for the people. That's a John McAfee thing, right? Vincent is like arrow wrecked, right? Devin up north says a lot of people want to be the 51st state up there. That's why they're cutting gas taxes. I mean, you know, some people are not into it. Some people are booing the national anthem at hockey games. I'm sure there's other people who are like, I'm done with this. You know, the reason they're not over here to begin with is Trudeau was charging them a $25,000 exit tax. So if you left Canada, you had to pay $25,000 to the Canadian government on the way out. You know, we let in bad people through the southern border. We should be letting the good people in through the northern border. BZN giving me some love. I appreciate that. How's April looking? Okay. So in the roadmap, Malik is asking about ENA. So let's just get that done. Let's do ENA. Okay. So a lot of these coins that are sitting on their, is this the discount zone? No, this is not the discount zone. So, you got to be careful of the give up trade on this. And there's no DeMarc buy signals yet. No oversold anything here. I mean, it's oversold, but I'm just saying there's, you do have some good bullish divergence here. Look, dude, a lot of this stuff that's down, it has to prove that it can go up. There's a lot of stuff that may or may not come back, right? This is why you have to evaluate your portfolio and be honest. Now, if you believe in this, stay with it. Stay with it, right? Just stay with it. Okay, so what's April looking like? So let's look at that. Okay, so this is the Grok roadmap. So what this assumes is that you have a bottom off, like a seasonal bottom in mid-March. Let's put it that way. And then you have a rally into the Bitcoin conference. And then you have a correction thereafter. That could be nasty, right? All these corrections are nasty, right? People aren't used to this. They forgot the history of Bitcoin. They forgot the history of crypto. And they forgot this idea that Toby came up with, which is cycles within cycles, right? All the way up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, all the way up 50%, all the way up 62%. This is the new normal. People don't get this yet. Or they do get it, and that's why they quit, because everyone told them it was up only, and it's not. It's not. Okay, so for April, we're kind of assuming it can get back to 98. Whatever volatility, whatever nonsense that we're dealing with in March ends in March. Just get it all out of the way. Tariffs, oh my God. Geopolitical situation, oh my God. Global conflict. How many times have we done the global conflict trade? Oh, geez. I mean, this time the orange man is actually shooting at people, but we've done this before, right? So the bottom is in April. It's back to 100K. There's a dip around Easter, and then it just goes up because the dollar goes lower. The dollar goes lower. There's no way to vent in the system. There's no way to vent all this pressure. Like, Ray Dalio's guys, oh my God, that's a problem. Oh my God, the world's ending. All these bearish hedge fund guys. The way to vent the pressure in the system is higher Bitcoin. That's what I think. So, this is a Grok-based roadmap, assuming 80K is into 20K. So the bottom line is, I think you can go back to 100K in April based on some of these roadmaps. Okay. All right. I'm just wrapping it up there. It's the similar message with different news, similar charts. Actually, there is one chart. There is the one chart market update, which I think is very interesting. Somebody in my group brought this up. So this is Solana versus Bitcoin. And Solana has been making multiple DeMark bottoms, and it's making one today. It's a 13 bottom, and you have a 9 bottom as well. Now, basically, if you don't know what those things mean, they basically mean the trend is exhausted. Now, you did very well if you moved from Solana to Bitcoin in January. You did well. Bitcoin went down, but Solana went down more. Solana went from like 2 something to 1 something, 220 to 120. It was like a 30% markdown more, right? It's time to go back to Solana. Why would it not be time to go back to Solana? Like, this is a pattern match. So the blue line is from last year. So the red line is the current price action in Solana over the last 180 days. The blue line is something that this computer matches. So it's basically telling you that there's a very high, there's a 94% chance that this year looks like last year at September, right? And this is Solana just crashing. Like before, it was like, it was a crash in August and then weakness. This was just straight down. Why would anybody? This is where they match up. Now, this doesn't mean up only immediately. But you could have a V bottom here, right? This was a slow, rangy. This was like U-turn in the blue. But why can't this be all the way down and all the way back? Not all the way back, but part of the way back. In other words, this was stupid. This is just stupid. And all these altcoins versus Bitcoin, I don't know, man. They're on sale, and everyone's like, "Oh, XRP is going to flip ETH." Okay, where's the market when that happens? Again, no one wants to touch it. No one wants to touch it. Everyone's like, "I'm like, buy Solana." I was like, "No way, man, not touching it." So some leveraged short came in, and I thought about this. Like, over the weekend, somebody came in and made this big leveraged short. Solana went down 5%. I was wondering. It's like, what? If someone's putting a high-profile leverage short on, I'm wondering if he's trying to spook the market or he's trying to make a little money so he can buy it lower. This is a very common tactic in big trading rooms. Like, let's show a huge offer. Let's scare everybody. Meanwhile, they're just taking it all in. I just don't understand what the case is to sell Solana at 120. And I guess even if they take Solana down, which I guess is possible because we're in a revulsion stage, how could that not be a buy? Like, where is everyone's imagination? There was no imagination when Solana was at 20. And then the next thing you know, Whiff Hat was going and all this meme stuff, and it became Las Vegas. Now, of course, that went bust because in crypto, we have the inherent self-installed stupid button where we blow ourselves up. Solana goes down another 5%. Solana goes down another 10%. I don't know that happens. But you have to ask yourself, what happens if there's a bottom in Solana? Okay, so that's it for the market update for today. We will see you tomorrow.